Dark Crystal.
Hey guys, we just finished watching my movie. I picked Jim Henson's Dark Crystal. It was a production that was released in 1982. This was Jim Henson's first fantasy film after the success of the Muppet movies.
Nice. So I have a general question for everyone, and we can all answer at the same time. If that might make it a little bit easier.
Okay.
What did we think about this movie?
So great! This movie...
The correct answer was...
I don't know what y'all are agreeing on. I'm liking this tea.
Do we have any warnings? No, right?
Not really.
Some possible dark themes if you want your child to watch
general
this.
Grossness.
But so that goes into another philosophical discussion.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
But dude, like so should children be introduced to something like the Dark Crystal?
Yes, in my opinion, I think they should.
Like there's no blood, there's no actual violence. There's dark themes, but if you're only showing your son or daughter, like VeggieTales, like that also brings a different form of.
Because the
I wouldn't
world
say
is
bad
not
parenting.
all
it's definitely not bad
rainbows.
parenting, but like
There's
You're-
realism.
yeah, there's no realism. So like the world is sometimes shitty.
It is.
And I think things like the Dark Crystal is that kind of a magnificent way of showing these are villains, these are good people. They're both in the world. And it also kind of had that tether thing where like they're both connected. So like that you, even though I completely disagree with you, Jess, you can't have good without evil. I think you can have evil or you can have all good. It's just we're humans and within us we can't. But
I think that everyone is capable of good and evil.
yeah, of course.
I think that some lean towards one more than the other, for sure. But I feel like everybody has that choice in them. That's what I'm thinking.
Agree.
People make choices.
People make choices. Some of them are
Exactly.
really fucking stupid.
To get back,
Yes.
Jim Henson's plan for the film was to get back to the darkness of like the original Brothers Grimm fairy tales.
Okay.
And he felt that children liked the idea of being scared.
Yes, roller coasters are.
It was a healthy emotional way for them to basically deal with that.
Goosebumps,
Yeah.
right? How
Goosebumps.
popular are those books?
Scary
before it
stories to
became
tell in the
movies?
dark.
People like to be scared in a safe medium.
Yes.
Yeah.
I that's why I think horror films are so successful, because you're given a time to release that emotion. You're given a specific place that is safe to you to express that fear.
In a controlled kind of environment.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I personally used to hate horror films.
We're enjoying our tea. Thank you.
They're being scared.
I used to hate horror films personally. I used to get scared over little bitty things, and as I've grown as a person and gotten away from maybe the sheltering I had, I definitely have started embracing those kinds of stories, those things that make me a little uncomfortable or a little nervous, scared, what have you. So watching this for the first time, by the way, this was my first time watching The Dark Crystal as an adult versus rather a kid. I really super got into all of the different theming of it. I really got into the different shots that were happening in it. The world
building in
gosh, of
itself
course.
is just beautiful.
It's gorgeous, and I was totally immersed in this story.
In addition to the topic of horror, what is a good release or therapeutic thing for people that need that to conquer something?
Yeah, absolutely. I've always viewed it movies and
Quite
movies.
literally conquering your demons.
Well-
for some people.
That's true.
For some people, yeah, but I've always viewed movies as definitely an escape.
Oh yeah.
So whether it's an escape into this kind of terrifying world or whatever is happening in it, it's definitely something that you can experience in a very safe place, of course, in your home or wherever you're watching it. So I really enjoy that that aspect.
With me picking this movie, I remember watching this movie. This was a staple of my childhood. A lot of dark 80s movies were like Secret of NIMH, Neverending Story, which all of those in themselves have kind of like that dark post-apocalyptic theme. And showing that, in my opinion, to a kid, I wish they would actually do more movies like this nowadays. But for a child watching this, you get that sense of, I feel like I can do, conquer this. I can do what I can to.
Mm-hmm.
It just thank you.
I get that for sure. Well, and see, and my take on it, my initial thought would be, okay, not only is there this dark kind of, like you're saying, post-apocalyptic kind of misanthropic world, but there are actual species being hunted. You see some animals potentially dying, but not in a graphic way, but it seems like they're just not there anymore. So that, my first instinct would be like, oh, kids don't want to see that. That's scary. But like you said, there's a realism to that with life, and to deny that can give people a distorted view of what would actually be happening maybe in their life or in the future. So I can see the reverse logic of, you do want to have that kind of thing. And honestly, some of the most popular books and series these days for like the younger kids and the tweens or whatever, they're all these like dystopian societies where these kids, these young kids to teenagers, are fighting this major system and causing a huge change within the world. So if that's kind of more reinforcement to that, that's a good thing.
I think
Getting people to be activists and working for the better of their world is a good thing, even at a young age.
I think the idea of what we're going to nowadays, especially with the topic of children watching this movie, it's also going into the whole teachers aren't parents argument, or like you shouldn't just give your kid this movie and watch it and expect a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old, maybe not even a 15-year-old, to grasp a philosophical conversation from it.
Right.
You
really
just
need
watch it and that's it.
Yeah.
You need to sit with them. You need to parent them.
Yeah.
That's a great concept. And discuss the situation with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, have a dog in the studio.
Hey,
I
he's
understand.
adorable.
Every studio needs a dog.
So
Every studio does need a dog.
He had
Emotional
some
compass.
input to the
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Everyone
he has
has
a
all
pretty
input.
Yeah.
So, aside from me and Vic, we're the ones who initially had seen this. I know I forced you to watch it.
I've seen it once before when I was a child, but back again when I was a child, I didn't quite understand the movie.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
watching it again as an adult with a fully formed brain,
Yeah.
allegedly.
So, for I guess everybody who
was-
watched it, for this being your guys' first time, what do you guys think of the full on like story?
Story wise, it was a very traditional classic hero's journey.
Yeah.
The chosen one is going to save the blah blah blah, and he meets people throughout the way that are helpful to make the chosen one be the chosen one. If it wasn't for them, that chosen one would not be the chosen one. So they're AKA expendable, which makes the chosen one's job to me seem like he's a bitch. Was not Kitty. What was her name?
Kira.
Kira is the fucking hero of that movie.
Yes, absolutely.
Like
she was so badass.
She's like, I'm gonna charge into battle. I'm gonna free these people. I'm going to a Disney princess talk to all the animals and start a fucking riot.
And free the animals.
Yeah, and free the animals again. I'm
the
going
animals.
to go into the middle and like take the crystal against the big baddies. And still like, hey, why don't you do something? What am I doing? I'm on top of a crystal. I can't move
Just
much.
drop the freaking shard that's supposed to,
She took initiative when they were being tracked down and took one of those bird things out.
Yeah.
Yeah, when
the
when
crystal bats,
one of those birds was about to grab the crystal,
Yeah.
Frigzig saved the day.
Yeah, Fisk.
He went in there. bit the hand,
Mhm.
was it able
Which,
to
by
grab
the way, we have our
crystal?
Fizz gig right there.
Oh, D6.
Oh, there's the crystal.
Oh, there's a crystal. There it is.
Oh my gosh, she ate all the crystals.
Oh, okay, my bad. All right. Chris, give me some mini crystals, my dude. To move down the charts, let's see. Okay, initial impressions of the movie. Do you want to? Is there any more trivia that we need to discuss?
I mean, there's
There's a lot of stuff I guess with the entire just production wise for it. I know one of the ones that I found out when it came to them doing the designs for some of the monsters like the Gartham, those big giant crab like things. Those were created just because of there was some dinners that Jim Henson and Brian Frode, who was the oh my gosh, his title.
Design? Art director?
Yes, sorry.
director.
They got it from just looking at like lobsters when they would go out to like dinner and stuff like that.
Totally. I can see
can-
that.
It's just like,
that.
hey,
Yeah,
let's do that.
With the claws.
Yeah, was it like what 70 pounds was the?
It's 70-pound
God.
fiberglass
Whoa.
costumes
Fiberglass
where
puppet.
Mm.
Lordy.
every 5 minutes the actors in the costumes had to literally be put up on a rack to just
God, I
rest.
can't imagine how hot that was.
Probably stifling.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, the Skeksis, they had to have 2 people operate them.
Those were the 3-armed.
No, the
that was the
Skeksis are the bird-like, the evil
Okay,
bird-like creatures.
those I give. I give props to the detail
Yeah.
of whoever
Oh, right.
directed them as a unit, because they went 100% out of the way to make them as disgusting as possible.
Yeah,
Their
the entire dinner
mannerisms,
scene.
like even
You can find that on
They
YouTube.
each
Yeah.
looked
Just-
different too. That's
each
something
one of them
I really
looked different.
enjoyed.
They all had like a different grossness to them. They were all egotistical.
Oh,
Every
yeah.
single one of them was power hungry.
Yes.
But they were all proper trim. They had robes and whatnot, but they were still eating with their fingers. Even if they weren't physically touching the food, they had utensils with their fingers. They talked with a mouthful.
Yeah.
What else did they were all cowards as well. They would not physically fight each other, but have bullshit strength contests.
But they would also be like, oh yeah, well, we're behind you. But the second that Chamberlain, the one that lost the fight,
yeah.
the second he lost, it's like, oh well, fuck you.
Yeah, you can leave her
You
now.
can leave
Yeah.
right now.
It's like they did a great job at establishing the villain
Mhm.
and their propriety. What's the right word? It's a P word. That means you have a lot of money and you have status.
Proprietor? Is that it?
I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm just misusing words because I don't know English.
Words are hard.
Words are hard. And then the monks essentially.
Mystic.
The
The
Mystics,
mystics,
yes.
which they had a lot of Eastern mentalities.
Tendencies, yeah.
Tendencies, thank you. Yeah. They sang. They focused on the arts. They even did
the Zen garden.
the Zen garden, yeah, which
They
I
could read.
love because it might not be the exact one, but I know that some monks it takes an entire year to make this masterful piece of art with just colorful sand, and then when the piece is done, they literally just destroy it
Mhm.
because the whole point of it is like nothing lasts forever,
Right.
and it's like that's what it made me think of, and it was great.
And back onto the subject of the puppeteering,
Yes.
they were, from what I'm understanding, the hardest puppet to control because you had to have the puppeteers literally walk on their haunches and with their I can't remember if it was their left or their right arm, had to hold it out and they could
Okay.
only do it 5 to 10 seconds. It's why when you see them walking, it's such a short.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
they all had like different ways of moving. It looked real. The environment looked
Yeah.
real. The blending of the CGI looked amazing. The
For
a
set
time, yes, it was pretty
design
good.
was great. I also think I don't know if this was on purpose, but the idea of having a post-apocalyptic world enhances the this is a creature in a barren land just walking.
Yeah.
Like, now that we know this is the end of the world, there's very few left, it makes sense why there's not a whole bunch of these creatures out there walking. When you went into the wood, the swamp area, everything was alien to us, which is amazing. We didn't know if the trees were alive. We didn't know if the stones were alive. Like that was
things were just moving left
amazing.
and right, and it was like catching your eyes in
Plants were
different parts of the screen.
Plants were reading.
It's one of those. It was one of those things where it's worth having a chance to go back and rewatch it again because I guarantee you there's something that you'll pick up.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Second time around
Like,
that you would not have
Going
seen.
to that
There's so
puppeteer.
many different things happening in just that shot of like transitioning through the swamp, and you're seeing all these things start moving, and some things aren't moving, but some things like drawing your eye towards it, like the color or something, and it's just so interesting
And
how
going
they
to
did that.
that exact point, going to puppeteering is how much thought was put into designing a 3-second for the viewer like scene. Like, what was a process? You had to create a whole new system of wires and puppeteering, everything that encompasses that, to just make that one shot move, to have nothing in the movie other than feel. This movie fucking excels at feel. You
Yes, it
feel
does.
that world. And like I mean, it is outdated. It is kind of cliche now.
Yeah.
A little.
But even now, it still holds up.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm fucking scared, excited to see what the new one's going to
The
do.
prequel that they plan to do.
Because like, you need to match that feel
Right.
with
From-
today's
to do
technology.
honor
What I am
to it.
understanding
Yeah.
for the prequel, that the ruins that they showed in the movie, this is taking place 100 years before what is going on, like in the movie current that we watched. So it's probably back
this
when
is gonna be on
Gelflings were
Netflix.
still.
Yeah,
There were
there's-
many of
So
them.
there's more life. We can now we have the technology to introduce more characters. We have the ability to show a more lived world, which the forest looked lived, but the civilization, like, it's easy to move a tree or a stone versus moving a living sentient creature. That's a little bit harder.
My hope is for the series, the new series that they're gonna do based off of Dark Crystal, or the prequel to it, is that they don't go away from the puppeteering, from the actual like physical sets.
It's probably gonna be
No,
a
I
mix of
understand.
both.
Nowadays, like, the CGI is going to be updated.
Yeah.
But from what I have gotten with research that I did, all the Gelflings, the Skeksis, they went back and they created them the exact same way how they
Okay.
did for the original movie.
That's good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And
That's good.
look at it this way: this time around, this is Jim Henson's children that are
Yes.
doing this production.
That's
This is something
the
that
labor of love.
they know.
basically.
This was their father's, one of their father's
Yeah.
passion projects.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to do a prequel. There was even supposed to be a sequel that got canceled.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because seeing the trailer for the new one that's coming out, the prequel, I guess,
Yes.
is when I saw the trailer, and I was just so amazed by it. And then I see some of the comments underneath it, because they were like, "Oh, what is this graphics? Blah blah blah." Blah. It was like, well, if you watch the original one, they basically stuck to what the original was,
Mm-hmm.
So
and it's supposed to be a prequel. So why would it be more advanced?
their intended
Things, you know?
audience is obviously
Yeah,
fans of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
original.
And to
Not
this
just
day,
movie,
it has
but
a cult
art form.
following.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
The movie has a
when I
cult
saw
following
the
to this
trailer
day.
of that one, I was pretty amazed by it.
Yeah, it's a lot of
And it was
a
like
lot of work.
they stuck to the original work,
Absolutely.
and like I'm sure I've seen this movie before. It's just that I'm kind of like a first time viewer because
You don't really
I've never seen
remember.
it.
nothing.
I saw the trailer for the upcoming movie before I saw this movie.
So as a first time viewer, what'd you think?
It's
Yeah.
fucking good. That's my critique. I'm sticking to it.
Okay.
Put it on there. Title of the movie. It fucking good.
It's fucking good, yeah.
It fuck good.
But
5 out of 5. It's fucking good.
5 stars. Put the little laurels around it. It fucking good.
Now we will live forever.
If I could say something about the movement
You may not.
aspect,
You cannot.
well, okay, I won't then. I don't think that you guys will notice any movement.
I'm not good at it.
There's no
Wow.
movement. Nothing in the movie moves. It is one static shot for an 84 minutes.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
What's up, Lee?
Well, what I was gonna say again, this was not my first time seeing this. I've seen this quite a few times, but watching it probably has been, I don't know, quite a few years since I have seen it again, and it felt like I was just experiencing the movie again, which is really exciting. Intricate, beautiful world. But you had mentioned, Jesus had mentioned the Skeksis and their movement and the way that they were just, how you can convey something is gross and disgusting, kind of despicable in their movement, probably a bit of a challenge. And
Yeah.
one of the things that I hadn't noticed before that I kind of picked up on this time, I always thought they looked a little bit like vultures. For
Yeah.
some reason, just their
Mhm.
noses, they kind of
Some
look
had
like
even
that.
like rat features too.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the carrion bottom feeder, those undesirable kind of birds.
Mm-hmm.
And then at times when they would come together, I noticed the way they were kind of awkwardly hopping, which reminded me exactly of watching buzzards try to pick at something.
Mm.
So when they went
Yeah.
to the emperor,
Yeah.
kind of awkwardly hopping around the bed. When the
Yeah.
Chamberlain was
Mhm.
disgraced, again that. And then at the end with the Shard, kind of the end battle there was more of that. And I thought, I never even realized how much they must have choreographed that to really convey that. Because again, I got a good feeling out of it, but I hadn't realized that was probably why. So
talking
that was
about
really, really good.
Because talking about that too, because that is true. Because when the emperor was just on the brink of death,
Mm-hmm.
everyone was around, just kind of snooping, like who's gonna get that scepter? And then
Yeah. They didn't even
Like,
care
yeah,
that he was dying or
good
anything.
feeling,
Right.
like
Which,
that
The
feeling.
majority of them were bowing, and then you have Chamberlain just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna grab the
Oh,
scepter.
yeah, scepter.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
My stick.
Again,
Yeah,
be
exactly.
a child watching that, and when you see the Emperor lean up going, mine, and I'm like, that was terrifying.
I bet.
Also like that when someone was desperate to establish power and like my position in the tribe, they got stuck saying I over and over again. Like I don't know if that was intentional, but that was pretty fucking cool. And as Vic said when we were watching the movie, how do you disgrace something like in their position
That's so prideful.
so prideful? You take away their robes, you take away their jewelry, you take away their possessions, because possessions means the world to them.
Yeah.
If your ambition in life, if your number one goal, this is me jabbing at someone, is to have a Lamborghini, and that is your life goal, you should
Damn it.
reassess your situations. Justin, you get the fuck out.
I am still emperor.
One of the things I heard you talking about that you got really excited about was how they made the entire movement for the different races. You got extremely excited with the podlings.
Oh
How
yeah,
the
they
movement
just
Oh
it was
my
such
God.
a they were
It was so
lively,
cute.
they were
Little
just
happy
Which,
hopping.
by the way,
Yeah.
their entire
good.
race was literally based off of potatoes.
Potatoes are awesome.
Oh my gosh, I can see
Wait.
that now.
Do you think it's because potatoes were the only thing that survived the potato famine?
Oh man,
That's dark.
Bro.
I mean,
Crystal.
And also, on a lighter note,
So smooth.
the home of the podlings was based off of Jim Henson's home.
Really?
Yes.
That's a nice fucking home.
It was based off, I guess.
Going to the podlings, can we not discuss that this whole movie was just a fucking D&D?
yes.
Yes.
Oh my
It was-
God. I
it
was
was-
actually going to bring that up. So.
The introduction was just the DM describing the world.
Yeah.
You get your main hero that gets caught up in the situation. You
he has
establish
a
the
quest he has to
villain.
go do.
The quest, yes. You have that established scene at the cantina. You have the established scene at the bar where you like are starting to hush things out. You have a little bit of freedom before bad shit rolls, and then you You continue.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
You got
You
your
good?
first. You got your first encounter with what was
Agra.
it? Agra. Thank you. I can never remember.
Which
Oh, yeah.
I loved how
Wizard.
everybody
Yes.
reacted to her.
Yes.
Like everyone's like, I fucking love this.
She's amazing.
She was so
She's
good.
a wizard,
She was
right?
a wizard.
Yeah,
I
she's a
got,
wizard.
I was
The
getting
one who
like,
basically-
like a oracle feel from her.
She
which
was-
I guess
yeah,
is
I mean,
kind of
oracle.
the same.
It's all branched within the same.
Right.
What is a fighter? A bozeman.
Well,
they're all fighters.
Augury.
They're all warriors.
And she gives out all
Yes.
this information.
Yeah. And I
I got
like
that from
how
the name.
That's
she.
smart.
Which I don't think this is what they were going to. This is just how my mind takes what you say, manipulates it, and makes it to fit my own narrative. I really like the again the
Honesty.
deterministic aspect of it. Like, of course I know what's gonna happen. I look at the stars. If I know what's gonna happen before, what happened earlier, I can predetermine what's gonna happen next.
Mhm.
That's how I see the future.
Well,
I know how to read things and do math, which is fucking the best wizard thing you can fucking do.
That's how I know it's coming. How else can I make the prediction?
And she even mentioned in the movie that she was there the day that
Oh, the
Oh.
split.
Yeah, she was there when
When it happened.
When it happened.
She
I think that's what she
also-
said. When it happened.
Yeah.
Also, I really think that
I know what
what
you're sorry.
this is serious.
I thought you were going to comment on her outfit.
No, her outfit's fine, Lee. There's nothing wrong with her outfit.
Oh,
I just think
they-
that maybe
they were
she just needs to turn the AC off a little bit. It's a little too cold in that
Whoever,
room.
Yeah.
whoever
Yeah.
makes
Yeah, I
those
don't know who
freaking
made that
puppets
decision.
Yeah,
and
that
did
was
those
a
details
decision.
and everything, that was an absolute decision that she was just
Jim Henson was like,
right there.
that
I
bitch
don't-
nipples need to be popping.
I don't know if that was Jim Henson's
That's
idea.
Jim Henson's decision.
Or
Watch
no,
the
it
movie.
could have been Brian Froud's because all
Okay.
those creatures were based off of his drawings. Jim Henson saw his drawings and
So
it was
he-
like, huh, I like this.
She's like, some nips down here, and a nip down here. Perfect.
And
great
every time Agra, I said Agda for some reason.
It's okay.
Every time Agra sat down, she looked like she was pooping, and it was
Yeah,
making
like-
me like die a little
Like I
bit.
said, that girl is thick with 7 C's. Like that cushion was a C, dog.
Woo!
Like
One of the other things that I have to bring up the cutaway they did with the Nibri eating, and then it goes to the one that was
yeah.
on the roast.
yeah.
Just-
Again, that's establishing good guys, bad guys.
Mhm.
And the cutaway was perfect.
Yeah, it was good. It was a great transition. So let's talk
Sad.
a little bit about the actual art of the film.
Beautiful.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. Kind of breathtaking.
Brett,
Immersive.
immersive. Color choices I think were amazing. It was bright when it needed to be bright. It was dark and red when it needed to be dark and red.
I know
yes.
the one design choice that you're gonna. Shit.
What's up?
In Agra's tower, the constellation machine.
Oh, they're just it's a trope for wizards. It's an old trope. It's just dumb, in my opinion. I get it. It's aesthetically pleasing. It looks cool. It makes you look like you're studying and you're philosophizing and you're just there with your armchair reading. Like, I get it. It just looks dumb.
The one thing I want to laugh at is when they had Agra's character go in and she just knew when to duck when it was going by, and I'm like,
true.
I just want to know the behind the scenes of how many times someone probably ended up hitting their head into that or
Yeah.
something like
And
that.
they look like blades. Some
Yeah.
of
Oh,
those
yeah.
pieces,
They look
like
sharp.
axe
Yeah.
blades.
So you're almost like going, oh, duck, while she's talking.
Speaking of that scene, there was one thing that there were two things. The first one was the wires and the fucking crystal in the intro.
Mhm.
I mean, what can you do? I understand. But the other thing that I'm like, that took me out of it, and it was like a split second. Was it the trolls? The that's what they are in D&D. But the crab, the lobster dudes.
Oh, the Gartham?
Yeah, the Garth. So they broke it, right? They
Yeah.
smash, break it. And when they moved, they smashed table.
Yeah.
But the table didn't break. They can destroy concrete, but not.
That's some good quality table, man.
I mean, maybe it's masterwork wood. I don't know.
Maybe it's
the
enchanted
quality-
wood.
Because like they smash it, and I don't know if it was supposed to break or not, but nothing really happened. So then they smashed glass, and then fire started erupting, and then more things that were
Yeah, the fire
were
was awesome.
that was supposed to break.
The
It's like,
fire just happened, and I even
Yeah.
said, "Where did that fire come
They
from?"
failed their strength check.
oh, okay. They rolled a 1 on breaking table. I understand. So DM was like, "Yeah, you can break concrete. You can't do 1, I guess."
Break the
I
table.
guess it didn't happen.
You didn't hit it right.
The one thing, and this is just, again, from when I watched this as a kid up to now, the one thing that always gives me a headache is when they have the dream fasting part between Jen and Kira.
That
You guys
is
said that
really
was
When they have them basically pop in the exposition of their
Oh, yeah.
backstories
They
like that.
wanted to jet out as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
That's the
it
only
is
my
heavy,
biggest
heavy
gripe.
exposition.
That's my only biggest
It's-
gripe I ever had with
Instead
the movie.
of actually having them like converse and actually say, "Wow, you're a Gelfling." Gelfling?
Yeah.
Goblin, yes.
Okay, you're one. Oh, you're one. Cool. How did you get here? What is all this stuff? Where did you grow up? I've never seen another one.
I don't know if that
Instead of-
was written for time.
I think
or
it was
what,
for time.
because you
feel
can
like
literally.
it was.
What, I'm sorry, I keep forgetting her name.
Kira.
You can take her out of the movie, and the movie completely still makes sense. Even though she's the best character in the movie,
Agreed.
she's not needed for the story. She just added extra plot and extreme convenience for our hero. Like, her not being there might have made our hero, our protagonist, an actual hero. Because he
Yeah.
actually needed to fucking do something.
Mhm.
And it kind of, in a way, contradicted when he started his journey, and he's just like, traveling alone? Traveling alone. And he just went on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just then you said it where it was like,
Yeah.
okay, I guess I got to do this alone. And then she's like, I guess we got to do this together. And
Yeah, there was a total moment in the beginning where he's having this really sad moment where his master just died,
Yeah.
and
Yoda died.
he's like, "Oh, I don't want to do this alone."
He became a blue.
Alone.
All right, I guess I got to do this alone. And it's like a very small, like 5-second delay of him going, "I don't want to.
Oh,
I guess I have to."
What
And
other
then-
choice do I have?
And then he says the exact same thing to her when they have to go together, and it was
It's like, all right,
Yeah.
together then.
all right together then, and it's a good contrast.
But
I
it's
like
okay,
that.
you forget about it when Fizzgig has its shit fit.
Yeah, he gets mad.
It's
That's
adorable.
cute.
I
That was
freaking-
cute.
Cinnamon
gotta
was
say-
not cool with
Oh
that.
yeah, Cinnamon was not cool
For
with that. He's like, no,
comedic relief-
I'm the only drama queen in the movie.
For comedic relief, Fizzgig was like the best character to
I agree.
have because he just like had meltdown,
Which that was Frank Oz's idea, was to give Kira Fizzgig as kind of akin to like how Miss Piggy in the Muppet Show had Fufu, her poodle.
Oh really?
But Jim Henson was like,
he didn't really want to.
he didn't want to do it because he's like, I don't want to repeat what I've already done.
But he
Why
ended
did
up
it
doing
work?
it, and
Well, and
honestly,
I
it
liked
made
it.
it.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say I just like that Fizzgig was basically a mouth with a tail.
Yes.
Yes.
That was
That's all dog
pretty
is.
effective.
It eats and it wags and we're like, okay, it's happy.
It screams out the mouth. and
Yeah.
eats its
Speaking of acting, so a lot of it was the puppeteering was amazing. We've all agreed on that. So like a lot of the motions we think looked awesome. So what's the next part to convey that character voice?
Voice acting.
What do you think about the voice acting?
Agra was great. I enjoyed
was
Agra.
really good.
Agra was
They had.
point.
I know they had a with her. It was like there were like 3 people that they were considering for it, and I feel bad. I can't remember the voice actors
Names are-
that
names are-
ended up playing.
I agree. Agra was she was done perfectly.
Yeah.
I
She was-
think
yeah.
all the vultures had a distinct
yes.
voice. They were all creepy and gross
Kinda
at the same
screechy.
time.
Like
Yeah, like I think they were done well.
like my little thing is, he's the main protagonist, Jen.
Mhm.
But to me, I feel like he could have done better, more
Yes.
emotion to his voice.
Yeah,
Right.
I was.
It
gonna
feels
say
like he's
something.
kind of like monotone on the way he's saying, kind of like that scene that you were
Yeah.
saying. I guess I have to do this alone.
Actually, you know what would have
Alone
made the
then.
movie
Then I
way
was like-
better? Take Jin the fuck out of the movie.
Make Kira be the one.
Make Kira the
Kira.
fucking
Just
prophecy.
Kira. I
Like,
would have
that
liked
been
that.
great.
Kara, fight them! Fight them, fight!
Tyr
Okay,
did better
so-
at moving than Jen did.
So there was also a moment where Jin is in the swamp and he's sinking, and he's like, I'm sinking. And she's
like,
like,
"Don't move."
Don't move. And he says, don't move, where would I go? And I'm like, really?
You're gonna
was
sink and die.
That was a bad line. That's
Oh,
silly.
and then when the Podling village was attacked, and he was just like, you know what? I wish I never heard of this shard. Just throws it, and I'm like, what you doing?
Yeah.
Well, the thing
And
is,
then
he
Kira
doesn't
picks
know
him up
yet.
and she continues the journey on
She
her
also,
own
she also
thing.
heals him beforehand. And
That's
then-
true. Druid, right? You said she
Druid.
was
She's
like into a
She's
druid.
She's a true
That was
druid.
awesome. So what is he?
Talk to all the plants.
Useless.
He was technically
Barbarian?
supposed to, I guess, be
useless.
the one who, because he was the only one who knew like how about the writings and stuff like that. She couldn't read it, but he could.
Yeah, but did he have wings?
Oh,
No,
that
he did
was
not.
so
he's a
great.
boy. No,
Of course not. He's a boy. That's why we don't have wings.
No, God, shit.
I'm so upset
I can
because now
kinda
you
feel
know
it,
my
but
secret.
You have
doesn't-
wings?
I have wings. I can't make them pop out though.
Which, and again, I think it was great that
I have some questions.
the
about
whole
Ariel.
thing with the wings, it wasn't exactly like making her, I guess, OP. It was more for gliding effect,
Yeah.
which I can understand with the puppetry, anyways,
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
But still, it was convenient.
Was arresting the fall?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was that one time that she pulled out that wings. I was like, whoa!
Everybody was like, "Oh my god!"
was like, what is happening?
Yeah, because they were trapped on a cliff, and all of a sudden she just grabs them and
Suddenly
like
punch
takes off, and like jumps off, and they're like, "What happened?" Then her wings are out, and we're like,
So,
Huh?
a big thing for me with any film is one, did the movie make sense to you guys?
"Absolutely,
Did the movie break its own rules within itself?
no."
Not that I saw.
Yeah, I really agree. Like
I feel like
everything.
they kept true to the
Yeah.
story, and that's probably evidenced by you said it took how many years for him to get from concept to final? It was years, though, right?
Hold on, I actually
Sorry.
have the timeline.
Stop video. Dun, 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 dun.
76 all the way, and 76 was when Jim Henson saw the image of Brian Froud's art, and they started discussing about the possible idea of a collaboration, and all the way up to 1982 when it was released.
Wow, 76 to
76 to
82.
82.
That's
That's 6 years.
is.
That's wow.
The entire story was written, I mean, Jim Henson came up with the idea of the story when he and his daughter were snowed in at a hotel.
Really?
wow.
Yes.
That's okay. That's interesting.
That's awesome.
That's pretty good. That's
Yeah.
when you know all the creativity was 100% flowing through.
Mhm. And I know to this day, we just recently went to Half Price Books, I guess with the prequel getting ready to come out. They have released a book that literally shows all of the, I guess you can
Art
call
style?
it Jim Henson's madness
His
in
notes.
notes.
His actual
Oh,
notes.
wow.
Actual notes for Darkness.
That's really cool.
Wow.
Yes.
Because like those type of things, those type of guess publications, I think are amazing. Because as an example, like Pacific Rim.
Mhm.
The first time I watched that movie, I think it was just mechs fighting each other. It was really boring. But once you get Del Toro's concept and you start reading its notes and you start seeing how one of the mechs was like literally a nuclear fucking factory and how that would work and how it interacts with the world, how you're taking different shots and you're literally putting the camera in the ocean as it's moving, like all these little things that I guess I didn't notice when I was watching because I was like, oh, dumb mechs fighting dumb mechs. Like those notes from the directors
I
are
will not
fucking
have-
amazing.
I will not have Gundam.
Here it is on the
Sorry
exact
about this.
timeline. February 6, 1978. Jim and Cheryl are snowed in the Howards Johnson at Kennedy International Airport. He writes the basic story of the Dark Crystal. February 11th, typed version of Jim's story outline is complete.
What?
That's huge.
It's
4
probably-
days.
So So with that, I think it's the idea of in the film industry.
Yeah.
You have to kill your babies all the time, so
Bad fucking joke right now.
I was about to say.
no, that's what you call it.
I know that's what you call it.
You're
Considering from last
nurtured
night's game.
ideas.
Oh yeah, child. Sorry, that's completely. It's sacred for dividing conquers Friday.
Sacred word.
Yeah, no, like you have an idea, and if it doesn't work for the production, you for the sake of that being good, you have to take it out. I think this was just my thought was accumulation of all those ideas that never had a place to go, and now he has the creativity to put it all in paper, write a script, and then with the okay of actually making the movie.
I'm sorry, I just saw something and I have to just explain this to
Hey,
Jeremiah.
I got one of those.
Hey, Jeremiah, you know how you were talking about the whole thing about Yoda? On November 19th, 1978, when they were working on stuff for the Dark Crystal, that's when they did the development of Yoda for Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back.
That's
That's
crazy.
so
cool.
Not false.
The Force.
So
Yeah,
They
he
stole
the
it
Force.
from Dark
I
Crystal.
think
Get it.
Yeah,
It
watched
is-
Yoda become
So
one
is
of
a
the Force.
mystic?
He went on his mystical journey.
He's a mystic.
He took
I
his.
guess in a way he is.
Yoda
I
is
can
a
see
mystic.
that.
He took his magic crystal to where it needed to go. and-
You also have crystals in Star Wars.
It's
Mhm.
true.
You have kyber crystals.
Yeah, Luke Skywalker needed the help of Leia to get through his journey.
Yeah, because he was a fucking
Like
asshole.
you say.
I mean, not an asshole. He was incompetent.
Just like Jim.
Incompetent chosen one.
Yeah, and the incompetent chosen one. It is a
The only competent chosen one is Anakin. He actually did something.
but
He
wasn't
actually
chosen.
accomplished his tasks.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
murdered all
That's
the children.
true.
He-
Speaking
so
of killing
he
your babies.
did- All right, guys. So
Oh,
as we're ending this video, this
Yeah.
conversation, would you guys recommend this movie?
Definitely.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Is there any? Yeah, fucking
I will
go
watch it again.
I
Yeah,
know.
100%.
It's one of those ones
I
you
will
have
go
to watch
home and
again if you want to
watch
sit
it
there and
again.
see
And this is
every
definitely
little...
one of those
It's a-
movies that the more you dig into that rabbit hole, the more you fall in love with it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
it's-
fun
I-
to look at as a movie.
And
100%. Agree.
every scene on that one is I'm just commenting.
Yeah,
Just
the depth, the field of the
world.
intros, the world is amazing. This movie has by far feel
Mhm.
like
Absolutely.
you're in the movie.
Yeah, when I was watching that, I was fully immersed, and look at that.
Yeah.
There's like a little bitty animal moving over there. Did it need to be? Not really, but they wanted
Yeah.
to make that world
Mhm.
feel
Yeah.
alive
Yeah,
while you're watching it because
You
you're
get-
there. You're
you-
not sitting down on the couch watching a TV. You're there.
you're there.
It's like
you're,
when
you're
you're
feeling
in,
everything.
like when they're in the castle and they have the little crawlies. Did they have to put those things there?
yeah,
No.
yeah. It makes the world feel lived in.
Mhm.
It definitely does. And like another, just for you guys at home, here's a slight little experiment you can do. You're going to notice if a movie is good based on how many times you touch your phone.
That's true.
That's a modern thing now.
I actually did not touch my phone.
No one was looking at their phone. We were all picking at food and stuff like that because our brains are triggered that way. But
Food.
no one was having a side conversation. No one was doing anything except for the puppy's butt.
Puppy butts. They're puppy butts.
Yeah, but like no one touched their phone. No one was doing it. No one was taking notes on the movie to know what they wanted to talk about
Yeah.
after.
Because they
like we
were
usually
in,
do.
in the
We
experience.
were fucking in the movie,
Yes.
which is beautiful.
I kind of felt like that actually with our Flight of Dragons too. That it was
Yeah.
just a really immersive. It's
Yeah.
funny, but it was
Yeah.
a really immersive world, and I kind of
No,
and they thought a lot about explaining the mechanics of why things were.
Yeah. I
It was
agree.
that one was
Watch that
a little
review.
bit more
Go
corny
watch-
than this one. Maybe.
Flight of Dragons. Now let's talk about
Astrology.
meteorology.
Meteorology. Trigonometry.
All right, guys. Well, I think this concludes our
Dark Crystal.
Dark Crystal conversation.
Yes.
Hey, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, all right. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank
Remember
you
to
guys.
comment, like, subscribe, all that shit that's on the bottom. You know how it be. You know how it do.
You know how
like
we do.
and commenting and then subscribing.
And
Bring us some coffee.
bring some coffee. So,
Coffee.
Then this
yeah,
is
all right,
actually
guys.
empty.
Yeah,
so
coffee and tea. Yes, yes,
It's
yes.
not.
Mm.